My morning routine's a bit different to all the viral videos on YouTube. It's not got 21 steps with gua sha, meditation, celery juice. Not that there's anything wrong with those, but as someone who spent the last 3 years seriously struggling to get out of bed feeling refreshed anytime before 10 a.m, the last thing I needed was a 3-hour long routine. So I actually have 2 morning routines because I don't know about you, but there are some days where I wake up feeling full of energy and ready to go, and other days where I'd much rather just lie in bed listening to the alarm than get out of it. Having a low energy plan for those lower energy days means that you're not beating yourself up when you didn't tick off all the boxes in your perfect morning routine, but you've still done the essentials that leave you feeling ready to win the day. So here's the ridiculously simple morning routine that genuinely changed my life. My alarm goes off at 6:30 and I used to have a traditional beeping or ringing alarm, but I get woken up so easily, so I was starting every day with a mini heart attack. The feelings or emotions you experience early in the morning can often carry through to the rest of your day. I don't want to start my day feeling stressed or anxious just because of my alarm, so I chose, this sounds supposed to be purring cats, but it was the calmest one I could find, so we roll with it. Also, I use an actual alarm clock now instead of the alarm on my phone, and it's honestly been the best decision ever. And not just that, my alarm's actually a sunrise alarm, and 30 minutes before your alarm actually goes off, the light starts turning on. This is really great because it can help regulate your circadian rhythm and wakes you up more naturally, so when you wake up it can help you feel a lot more refreshed. I always find it especially hard to get out of bed in the winter months because it's just always dark. It's just always dark. But getting that sunrise alarm for Christmas was honestly a game changer because I had that morning light when I needed it, and my body actually started to want to get up at that time rather than just crawl back into bed. Once I've made my bed, the first thing I do every single morning is my devotional, and that's because a good few years ago I decided that the first words that I wanted to read every single morning were going to come from the Word, because I believe there's power in those words, and it just really encourages me and sets me up well for the rest of my day. After my devotional, I often journal about what I've read. My journaling session isn't very long, it's 10 to 15 minutes maximum, but I've got a few questions that I often like to ask myself. The first one is always, what are 3 things that I am really truly grateful for this morning? And I find it helpful to actually take a second to think about the reason why and not just say random things for the sake of it, surface level reasons. This has really helped me build genuine gratitude, and I feel like it's also helped me just appreciate the little joys in life more. The next question I'd ask myself is, what's one quality I want to show more of today? And I choose the qualities I want to show based on things that I want to improve and on the qualities that I want the future version of myself to have. And then another question I sometimes ask is, how can I show God's love in what I'm doing today? Whether that's smiling at a stranger in the gym, doing chores joyfully, or just through the content I create. After that, I plan out my top 3 things I needed to get done that day if I hadn't done it the night before, because I often do that as part of my evening routine. And I finish up my journaling session with a little prayer. I often write this down as well. And then I do my skincare. When I tell you my morning skincare routine is the most simple routine you'll ever see in your entire life, I'm not exaggerating. I literally wash my face with water and then use SPF moisturizer. I'm someone who struggles a lot with acne, especially if I'm stressed, and one thing I found that aggravated it was using so many different products, and when I stopped using products entirely in the morning and just use water on my face, my acne cleared up so much. I feel like nowadays we're constantly being sold 101 different skincare products when really your skin is smart. Your body is smart and it can heal itself naturally if you just give it a chance. Yes, a lot of people will benefit from different skincare products or even medications, but personally I found when I just stripped back my skincare routine, focused on my diet and my sleep, that's what made the biggest difference. Next, I do 5 minutes of morning mobility, just because I always feel most stiff when I first wake up in the morning, so I feel like adding in some mobility is really great for your recovery and helping you to perform better and get a better range of motion in your workouts, but also it just helps me feel more awake and mobile as well. Sometimes when I'm feeling really energized, I do a little spontaneous handstand practice, because one of my goals this year is to be able to hold a handstand without the wall, and I move my bed so that I can actually practice, so this is commitment, you guys. But yeah, I'm still working on it. After that, I usually put another layer on because the UK is not the warmest of countries. And one of my favourite things to do at the moment is layer my gym shorts with some joggers. Perfect. I love it. I love it so much. I don't usually work out in the mornings because I feel like I can push a lot harder in my workouts when I've got a good few meals in me. So I'm more of an after lunch kind of mid-afternoon kind of gym girly. Next, I always have a big glass of water. I leave this water on my desk the night before, so it's just there and ready and I can just grab it. I don't have to think about it or make the effort of going downstairs. As I'm having my water, I also have my multivitamins and my omega-3s. I don't take a whole bunch of supplements, but these two are my morning essentials. As a side note, I just want to mention, when I first started this morning routine, I didn't start all of the steps at once. I added them in one at a time. I use this technique called habit stacking, where essentially you take one habit that you've already built. So for example, drinking water in the morning was one habit I had anyway, and to stack that habit with another habit that I wanted to build, whenever I would drink that glass of water, it would remind me that I needed to take my supplements as well. So using that method and other habits that were already part of my routine as cues, that allowed me to add in more good habits, which then built up to my perfect morning routine. The healthy habits that you choose to build and include in your morning routine may well be different to the ones that I have in my routine, and that is perfectly fine. What matters most is that those habits that you're building are all there to serve a specific purpose, and they set you up well for the rest of your day. The sunrise was really pretty this morning, but next I go into about 30 minutes of focused work. Recently that's been working on things for my coaching clients, but I used to use this time to study for my fitness coaching qualification. I did it through a company called Vector Training, and they were honestly so good. Like, you have the option to do the entire qualification online now, so they give you all your coursework. There's so many interactive quizzes and videos and things. They were super helpful if I ever needed any support with anything, and pretty much like all of the information is there for you to study towards your final exams. This isn't sponsored or anything, but I genuinely loved working with Vector Training, and they made everything just so straightforward to help me get that qualification to allow me to do coaching. So when I finished up with work, I head downstairs for breakfast. I always have the same breakfast because I cannot cope if I have a whole load of decisions to make early in the morning. This is also why I decide what outfit I'm wearing the night before, because if you find yourself making loads of different decisions early in the morning, that can lead to something called decision fatigue. Essentially, decision fatigue can make even making small choices feel really overwhelming. It can also lead to increased irritability, procrastination, and just general mental brain fog. Having to make a lot of decisions in the morning can reduce your cognitive ability to make sound judgments later in the day, and increase mental strain of your prior decision making. So if I can make the rest of my day easier by just sticking to the same routine every single morning, I'm gonna do that. After I clear up from breakfast, I get some fresh air and some sunlight, hopefully if the sun's actually up, and I go for my podcast walk. This walk is not long at all, it's only like 20 minutes, but I think it's really important to get at least some sort of morning movement in, because it helps me focus better afterwards, and I just feel so much more mental clarity. I always listen to podcasts because I feel like this is my little time of self-improvement, but you also feel productive because you're getting your steps in. And this is actually one of the reasons why I decided to start my own podcast, because it's a part of my daily routine. So I was like, I'll just make my own. I don't listen to my own podcast when I'm out walking, but for anyone who does want to listen, it's Uplifted with Soph on Spotify. So we can go on our hot girl podcast walk together, and we're stepping into our self-improvement era. Like, this year, we're gonna level up. I've made it my mission to level up in every single area of life this year, and I'm gonna be sharing what I learned. So if that sounds like a little bit of you, subscribe, because we can be besties on this self-improvement journey together. When I get back from my walk, I take my greens, and these have really helped with my skin and my digestion. I actually made a whole video on it, but I stopped taking them for a whole week, and I truly noticed the difference. So the greens are back in. Sometimes I do forget, but I am trying to stay more consistent with it. So that's how my ideal morning routine goes. But what about those low energy days? Well, I'll wake up closer to 7 or allow myself to lie in until then. I'll make my bed, do my morning devotional, and probably leave my journaling till the evening. I'll do my skincare, a little bit of mobility, and grab the clothes that I laid out the night before. I'll have my water and supplements. I won't do any extra work in the morning, but after I get ready, I'll have my breakfast. I never skip breakfast. And then to boost my energy and focus, I'll go for my podcast walk. After I finish my podcast walk, I'll come home. I'll usually get some food, a cup of tea, obviously, and then I'll do some work, so either editing or film a YouTube video like this one. And that's pretty much it. So my morning routine isn't complicated at all. It's not got 101 different steps, but I feel like it's really set me up well for the day. And even after just like the first week of the year of having this morning routine, my days have been so much more productive. I've felt rested and ready to go, and a lot more, like, I found it easier to focus when I need to. I used to really struggle like having any sort of morning routine, but now having this structure in place has really set me up well for the day, and it's made much bigger of an impact than I thought it would. But I'm gonna make a video soon on how I fix my sleep schedule and how I wake up early even when it's winter, So once I've made that video, I'll make sure to pop it here next. If not, YouTube thinks that you're gonna like this video, so I'd love to see you over there too. Appreciate you so much, and I'll see you in the next one.